Hey everybody, welcome to another Age of Grogu, and I've got with me Elijah and Jason. How's it going, guys?
Hey, hey.
What up?
Hey, we don't have Max today. He's currently visiting out of state, and so he'll be back hopefully next week. But yeah, what are you guys been up to? What's been going on this week, guys? Oh,
Go ahead, Jason.
go ahead,
Oh,
Jason.
nothing much, dude. I saw my pick of the week as far as
Uh-huh.
things to watch is a movie that's on Netflix called They Cloned Tyrone.
They claimed.
Um,
Okay.
they Cloned Tyrone.
All
It's
right.
it's really good, man. We watched it
Okay.
last night. Has John Boyega, Jamie
Oh,
Foxx,
okay.
and
Oh
the
yeah,
girl
no,
who
I've heard
plays
about
Maria
that.
Rambo.
That's it. Oh yeah,
But
I've
yeah,
heard about that. Yeah.
it's really good. You should check it out.
Yeah.
I knew nothing going into it, and
Hmm.
so we watched it last night. I heard good things.
Cool.
That was about it. I saw like one trailer
Right.
on Instagram,
Yeah.
and I've seen a lot of billboards in my neighborhood,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
so I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna check this out. And yeah, I've got some like got like a good vibe to it. Kind of reminds me of kind of like what was it? I'm sorry to bother you, and
Okay.
I'm a Virgo. Kind of a good take on that's a good movie. You should check it
Hmm.
out. No, we lost
Oh,
Brent's image.
That's
not
But
right.
there
bad.
you
Yeah.
go.
See, I told you before, my internet is doing some really screwy things. It's been problematic. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. I advise you check that out.
Hey there, Anchorman. How's it going? Have I ever played the X-Men arcade machine? No, I have not.
Ooh, the classic.
Okay.
Is that the one with
Yeah.
like is that the same as the
I've
Sega
seen one.
Genesis X-Men movie or game?
It's like where you could choose four different.
Hmm.
It's like Cyclops or
Okay.
Wolverine or
I've seen it, but I've never played it.
Colossus maybe.
I have seen one. Yes.
Is it the old one or is that what he's talking about?
I'm guessing so. Yeah. The
Yeah, I
arcade
used to have that
machine.
on
Machine.
Yeah.
He's
it's
saying
the
arcade
arcade one.
machine.
Machine. Yeah.
So
I assume it's the big stand-up one. Yeah. What you been up to, Elijah? Anything much?
um, slow week.
Uh-huh.
Everything's still slow. Unions
It is.
are doing their thing, and
Yeah.
But I got to see Oppenheimer this week.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I liked it. It was, obviously I knew I was gonna like it. I like Christopher Nolan movies.
Right.
The only real comment I have is like, I thought there was gonna be more to the like explosion
Hmm.
bit. I don't know. I just thought there was gonna be more to that. Like,
Really?
that sequence
Hmm.
was there, but like I just thought it was. I don't know. I thought I was gonna carry out like a big portion of the movie, and it was like a segment versus all
Right.
the other stuff
Right.
he has going on in his life, which is fine. But it just, I don't know. I don't know. That was the one thing I'm like, didn't spend as much time on the actual
Yeah.
explosion and aftermath of
Yeah.
the actual thing going off than
Yeah.
I would have thought. But
Yeah.
that doesn't really mean anything. That's just was like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised. For 3 hours of movie, it really kept
Yeah.
going. It didn't feel like it was 3 hours. And
Yeah.
I do how they broke everything up and all of it. I really liked it.
Right. Yeah. No, I very much enjoyed. I mean, seeing the Dolby, the sound alone was what
The
carried
sound
it.
was, I
So
mean, I saw it in
yeah.
IMAX, and
Okay. Yeah. You
the
saw it.
sound standard out in
Yeah.
IMAX. I don't know
Gotcha.
what sound system
Yeah.
the IMAX theater uses, but
Right.
the sound cues
Yeah.
were amazing. I
Y-
liked how that was all edited together and sound
Did,
playing it.
right. Did you get to see it in the 70 millimeter or?
Yeah,
Okay. That's cool.
yeah,
What's that like? Pretty good visually? I mean, it
yeah.
is a lot
It
of
was nice.
talking. It's a lot of talking heads, so it's not like a big visual film.
Right, but you still get the scale and the aspect
Yeah.
ratio.
Right.
It makes sense. It is a lot of talking heads and a lot of close-ups and that type of thing,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it makes sense.
It's a grown-up movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. That's cool. It's doing very well right now. I mean, at this point in time, um, the what was it? It's just made over 500 million worldwide. Um, Barbie is doing really well right now. It just crossed the $1 billion mark. Ninja Turtles is doing okay, and the Meg is, I guess, holding its own kind of thing. That only just started this week. I did see Ninja Turtles this week. I very much enjoyed the style of animation, but I also didn't at the same time. It's what I would call dirty animation. Like, it's the reverse of the Spider-Verse, in my opinion, of how they did it. They did some incredible detail to the animation, but it was gritty, dirty, and ugly in its form and shape and line,
I
which
heard.
was
I mean,
intentionally
I
supposed to be.
Yeah. I saw that with an
Yeah.
interview with the
Yeah.
directors, and
Yeah.
you know, that's the look they were going for. That's kind of what they wanted.
But yeah,
I like that. That sounds like a good direction. You
right.
see too much clean stuff out there. You
And
know?
it's supposed to look like
Yeah.
a quick scribbled, like something that a young
Sure.
kid would do on a notebook or whatever. Like, draw this real quick, whatever. Just,
Yeah.
I like that.
So that makes sense. I'd like to see it just for that. I mean, the images I have.
Oh, it's incredible animation.
The images I like.
Yeah, the actual teenagers playing the Ninja Turtles this time.
Yeah, that's
once.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The I mean the actual. I mean, the animation will give Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, a run for its money, I think, in the Academy Awards. I still think Across the Spider-Verse might still win, even though it's a lot of the same animation, but there was different styles of animation there, too.
Is Barbie leading the summer sales of all box office movies?
Looks
summer?
like it.
It's close. I don't know. I'm not sure where Mission Impossible is right now. I don't think Mission Impossible crossed the $1 billion mark yet.
Nah, I don't think a movie has in a while, right?
Yeah, I'm not too sure which ones have hit the $1 billion this year already, but there's not a lot. So it's kind of cool. I mean, A, it's a female director, and B, it is a film that I did quite literally not expect would have made past $750 million. I was expecting it to make around that ballpark overall, but we're only like week 3 into this film and across the $1 billion mark worldwide.
I want to see it. People are still talking about it. I know it should be entertaining just to see how they handle it, and I like to see it in the theater if I can.
Yeah, it's got a massive influence on the culture right now. Like, I just see like memes
it's
about
everywhere.
it. I keep talking about it.
Yeah, it's very memeable. I mean,
compared to like any other movie that came out this summer or this year. Even.
Yeah. Well, look at it. I mean, it's not a sequel. It is obviously based off of a toy line, so it's got a product following to a certain degree, but it's done very well in the box office. You take a look at Oppenheimer, it just crossed $500 million. It too is not a sequel. It seems like a lot of the earlier films that came out this summer were a lot of sequels and remakes and stuff like that are not doing as well in the box office. And is it the audience is now kind of saying we don't want to see sequels anymore, do you think, at this point?
It just like it shows that like how much we've exhausted certain IPs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, I've said this before.
Yeah.
But just because it has to do with something that that already exists, like an Indiana Jones or a Batman, doesn't necessarily guarantee success anymore.
Yep.
That was good. Like these last, I don't know, this last decade, I guess it kind of helped with certain things. Yeah. But I think we got the superhero fatigue. It's not a guarantee anymore. We've seen like flop after flop for that specific genre.
Yeah.
I mean, this happened to Westerns too, right? Those were
absolutely.
like banging.
Yep.
What it do, E-Man?
Hey there, E-Man. How's it going?
E-Man.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it was yeah, I mean it's interesting to see that kind of thing. I mean, we're just at the summer's end of all the films. We'll have a few good ones coming out. We've still got Dune coming out later in the year, although that may get pushed depending on the strike situation. There's a few films that are kind of saying they may push it. I think Sony said Ghostbusters might very well get pushed into next year. Beyond the Spider-Verse, which is early next year, may get pushed. And and then the other one that's getting pushed.
Ghostbusters, man! Every time they want to put out a movie, it gets pushed or something happens to it. Like even going back to that's crazy. Every time.
No, totally.
Malloy.
Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy. And then the other one that's getting pushed is Craven as well, Craven the Hunter, which we had a good laugh at. It's getting pushed back a whole year.
Yeah, people are totally forgetting about
Yeah,
it by then. Like,
yeah,
there's
exactly.
already billboards and stuff out now. It's like now you have to retract those and be like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, remember that?
yeah. The amount of
I
money
think
that.
like with the way things are going right now, I think movies that have just been well made
Yeah,
are doing tend to be doing really well. It
sure.
doesn't necessarily mean like, I mean, Barbie's a huge IP,
Right.
and
Yeah.
so like the
But
success
it's
of
actually
that is
it
kind of
is
like,
well made. I mean, it is.
yeah,
It's
it's
got a
also
through
well made,
story
but
that
like
works.
that's what rises above everything else. I
Yeah.
mean, let me look at Flash,
Mm-hmm.
for instance. Huge
Yes.
IPs,
Yeah.
like so much going for it,
Mm-hmm.
on paper, but
Yeah.
then just wasn't well made, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, that
But you get these
controversy
like,
with Ezra Miller. There's a lot of things that went down
yeah,
with that film.
but yeah, I think just I don't know. I think it doesn't matter what your IP is or what it's a sequel of something or whatever.
Yeah.
I think if it's a good movie, it's going to do well.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, word of mouth helps too with the new films that
Yeah.
aren't, maybe as big.
Well, speaking of like,
Yeah.
didn't A24
Hmm.
meet up with the agreements to all like the WGA and
I believe so.
SAG-AFTRA,
Yes. Yeah.
and now like they could start making movies again.
Right. It's weird because I always thought that was everybody had to do the.
It's a
Everyone had to.
studio. It's
Yeah.
just studios,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it just shows you like, I
Yeah.
mean, that's a relatively small studio compared
Right.
to
I thought they had to be unified. I
WB,
didn't
to
realize
like
they were individual.
Universal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like if they can do it,
Yeah.
but then Disney or Universal
Right.
isn't,
Won't.
Yeah.
it says a lot about those other big
No.
studios.
It
Exactly.
does.
Yeah. I
For a smaller
still.
company like that to do that, that's
Yeah.
cool.
I'm still trying to understand the ability of them being able to go ahead without a unified, group, which is I think is fantastic that they
I don't
are
think
and
they
they
need
have.
to. Why would they need to?
Yeah.
There's no studio union that
Right.
all the
Right.
CEOs have to be a
Yeah.
part of,
So what
So that
happens
doesn't make any
then?
sense, right?
Do the writers and the actors are being now at this point they are given permission to work at that studio only
Just that
because
studio, yeah,
that's it.
because
Okay.
they're
So
paying them what they're
right.
asking.
Gotcha. Yep.
And
That's
so they're just
that's it is
asking these
crazy.
giant, enormous $1 billion studios
Sure.
to pay them a little tiny
Yeah.
bit more
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
anything, and they still won't.
Yeah. They still
Ugh.
won't. Yeah. Yeah. I know
I
it's
mean, I think
ridiculous.
WB is bragging how much they've saved by not meeting up with their
I
demands.
know. What the hell
That's
is
crazy.
that?
I know.
That's. I think
Whack.
there's a lot of BS in all that too. Of course.
I mean, it's everything that I've always
Yeah.
been thinking is that
Yeah.
like the guys on the top they're the bad guys.
Right. Yeah.
It's no doubt about it,
Yeah.
And now that they're like, this is a good opportunity for them to show how
Sure.
bad of bad guys they are,
Yeah. Well, it's
how
going to have
actually movie villains
ramifications.
they are.
Yeah.
So
It's going to have ramifications on how people decide they're going to deal with those studios and work with those studios in the future too. It may end up by having complications down the track. I mean, I know everyone at first is going to be wanting to get back to work, but it is going to be a this kind of changes things if the fact they're not playing ball anywhere near what they should be. But anyway, whatever. It's
but what's his name? Stephen Amell from Arrow had some controversy stuff he said today or this week, right?
Yeah. Well, he re-explained himself.
Some lashback.
But
He
then,
got major
but
lashback.
wait, but then so did Zachary Levi and so did Jamie Lee Curtis. They've all said something that was taken out of context to what they were trying to say. So even though they said something in a wrong.
I just thought it was
but-
funny that he specifically said it, and you can tell him that he failed this city.
Yes. I
He had
know,
to step back. He had to
I
like
saw
take
the
a few
memes.
steps back and like say stuff. But I mean, Zachary Levi, don't get me started on that, dude.
yeah, but still, yeah. Anyway,
Now, there's a whole reunion picket for Arrow. I guess
I saw that too. That is funny. Yeah. Anyway, guys, let's talk about Loki. They dropped a poster for Loki season 2. They also dropped a trailer. this week. Did you guys catch the trailer?
Yeah, I like the
Yeah.
trailer.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I'm excited about this still
Yeah.
because like
It's
Loki is my favorite show,
yeah, it's one of the best ones out there for sure.
and just because like we had a secret invasion, I have I don't see that affecting Loki at all.
No, I don't, but I'm still now very weary of the recent, series because I'm going in and the films that have not struck as, well as they could have. And I just feel like that I don't know if I'm invested in this phase of the MCU. And as much as
No,
I'm sure it's going to be a good
I
show,
could say that
yeah,
I'm not,
right.
but I'm invested in Loki.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
can see that. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
to this point, like all these shows have been fairly different
hmm
showrunners, different people running them. They don't
yeah,
seem too connected as connected as maybe they should.
yeah.
So you're gonna have to
And
take
it
them.
shows.
You gotta kind of take them for what each show is.
Yeah,
But I would say that I'm excited for this too, just because the
yeah,
first season was so good. It does this by the preview. This doesn't look any different. It doesn't look like they're going in a different direction. It looks like a continuation
right.
of what they're doing, and looks like it's going to be interesting all the way through. So
Yeah,
I'm past rating Marvel content
yeah.
on its connectivity.
Sure.
You
yeah,
know,
Yeah,
it's
like
kind
I
of
get what you mean. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a phase one thing that I
yeah,
yeah.
was
yeah,
really
I'm kind of
invested
over with
in.
that too.
yeah.
Since like I guess two Avengers, we could I mean like I guess post phase three
Yeah.
or like Infinity Saga, the
hmm
connectivity has really like not done anything.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
I
I'm
agree.
still excited about Loki as
Yeah,
much as
me
I
too.
was after
And
the first season ended.
yeah,
Because I'm like, I see that as its own separate entity, which it
hmm
does exist in its own little pocket, you know?
yeah,
None of the things that have happened in between the first season and now, I feel like has little effect on anything that's happening in the Loki show.
yeah. Well, that starts exactly 2 months today. It's October the 6th that it comes out, and that's on a
Mhm.
Friday. Ahsoka finishes on that Wednesday that night. So, for the first time in a while, they've
No
pushed the show.
overlap.
There's no overlap. I know, it's great. But I got a feeling then Loki will then continue back on a Wednesday as normal kind of
Yeah.
thing. But
Anchorman's
uh,
asking how come DC
mm,
movies aren't doing well. Because they're not good.
Pretty much.
they haven't been. Yeah. They've been weaker at holding their content together. They've been weaker at holding their overall story together, in my opinion. Um, Other people are going to have a very mixed and different point of view. I don't see the threads as I did see in Marvel Phase
I,
One.
I
The
feel like
threads were
they
there.
I feel like yeah, like the I agree because like I feel like instead of like having a good flow through, they're just trying to like fix things from like their last mess ups.
Yeah, they're always
And
trying to
every movie that
yeah,
comes out is an attempt to like make up for a
make up
mistake
for
they made in
something.
their last one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's just kind of veering way too far and it
yeah,
just looks like they're trying too hard.
yeah.
But like, I don't know. The Suicide Squad was really good, but that could like stand
The
on its
second one.
own.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
like the Suicide Squad.
Yes, yeah.
That's the only difference in the titles, right?
hmm
The
I
first
mean,
one's
I think
called
Yeah, yeah.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
The
You're right. You're right.
I think
Suicide
if they're
Squad.
good, they're going to be good, and people are going to go see them. It's like
Sure.
and the moment that they're good, they're going to be good. It's like
Yeah,
DC doesn't have like characters that aren't interesting.
yeah,
It's just apparently it's been hard for people to tag or for the studio to allow
hmm
the creative people to go in the direction that they want them to. I think a
yeah,
lot with DC is Warner Brothers holding them back for corporate weird reasons of making toys and merchandise
hmm
rights and that type of thing that like hold them back from better movies. But I
Yeah,
think
and
that's
I
going
would
to change
say,
now. I mean, also they were hanging on to a bunch of movies and trying to feel that they need to stay in a certain realm. Now
yeah,
they're changing it and rewriting and redoing it. Like
yeah,
once this new Superman movie comes out, and if it's good, if it's really good, and
yeah,
that new Superman movie comes out, which I think there's high potential,
yeah,
then it's all good.
yeah,
Then everybody will like DC movies again.
yeah,
sure.
like what I was
Yes.
saying, like in the beginning, like it's just doesn't matter who your IP is. If
Right.
it's not a good movie, it's not going to be good.
Yeah, yeah,
Because that's like that's that's an ace in the hole. This IP, right?
Yeah.
Think about the Justice League, DC
Every character,
characters,
DC's got so many good characters, and like,
household names, and like
rarely.
I was able to do it with like
I don't know.
secondary characters like
I
that
had-
no one knows, like that weren't as widely popular as the Justice League, as Wonder Woman,
Right.
Spider, like Superman and Batman, and
Right.
they're to blow them out of the water.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I hadn't seen that. I hadn't read that they're doing a season 2 of I Am Groot. I didn't realize that.
yeah, they released a poster and
Yeah.
stuff already.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the only show that they could do related to the Guardians of the Galaxy that doesn't connect the overall. But either way,
It's like
yeah.
you can't go wrong with a baby Groot.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little Groot, like a little animation,
Yeah.
5-minute animations.
Totally, yeah. No, I think they were kind of cute and they worked for what they were. Back to Loki though. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to anticipate outside of what we saw on the trailer. I assume we'll get a second trailer beforehand. But I'm kind of, again, it's like it's so annoying because I get so frustrated with Marvel, and then I get all excited and giddy for a trailer that comes out on Loki season 2. It's like, okay, and I don't know where to sit once the show comes out. It's like I'm going to be conflicted because I'm feeling like I'm not wanting to.
Well,
get
what
into
if
it,
it's
but
good though? Like
if it's good,
that's what
I'm
should
gonna-
matter, right?
Oh, that's
Like,
it. Yeah, if it's good, and the performances are great, and the story works, then yeah, I'm gonna be totally into it and praise it. But until then, I'm just sitting on that fence line, going, okay. But I am more excited than I would be for any other show currently coming out.
What about Ahsoka?
No,
Yeah,
within
exactly.
within the MCU. Come on, no. Nothing beats Ahsoka.
I know,
right
I
now
know,
for
I'm just
me.
messing with
Yeah, no. I'm talking about
You
the
didn't cap
MCU.
that
but
with
you're-
Ahsoka.
you're
I'm talking
excited
about the
about-
MCU.
you're excited about the Marvels. You've expressed a lot of excitement for that. too.
Yeah, but that's a feature film too.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that'll be the revamp, but I'm kind of, again, after seeing where we left off with Nick Fury, I want to have some answers that keep in
Dude.
the story. So
Yeah.
They dropped the ball big time. with
Yeah.
that show, man.
Yeah,
It's
they pretty much
so
did.
bad.
yeah,
Did you guys discuss when Rhodey became a
a
Skrull?
little bit.
No,
yes,
I think
yeah.
we kind
Yeah.
of we.
What did you
That's
guys
it. We
settle?
haven't got your opinions.
What did you
on the
guys
after-
settle with?
We
I don't know. It's unclear to me. Like I wasn't convinced of anybody saying one thing. It's like we don't know. It
Yeah.
could be at any point, really.
yeah.
I seriously have to say that it has to be after Endgame.
After Endgame.
Mhm.
But the thing is that he seems to be like really crippled. He can still not walk, so it has to be after Civil War. But
Okay, this is my smoking gun.
because he got he wait, but just when was the point in time where he got his legs kind of, because he went through something, an operation or something?
It was Civil War. He got his legs, and then he's getting scanned and stuff and diagnosed in Civil War. But
right.
let me tell you my smoking gun.
Okay, all right.
In the Endgame, when they get bombed by Thanos, he crawls out of the old War Machine hammer. He has blood on his
Right.
forehead, and it's red.
Right.
That's my smoking gun. He can't be a
Oh.
Skrull in
Okay.
Endgame because he gets wounded and he's
You're right.
showing
Well,
red
they didn't
blood.
even know he
All
was
right.
going to be a scroll by that point. They didn't
Fair
even write that in.
But
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, whatever. You could say that.
Yeah.
It shows
They-
how much this show sucked. That,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they weren't even planning that. But
Yeah.
that is the huge smoking gun right there. And
Sure.
it is
Okay.
impossible
That makes-
for him to be
yeah.
a Skrull in Endgame.
That
So
makes
he at
sense.
least
that makes
knows
sense.
that Tony's
Yeah.
dead.
Iman's feeling okay. So you're feeling like the MCU and Star Wars franchise are pumping out just to pump it out. The story has
Yeah.
gone downhill. Yeah, they
I
are.
agree.
Star
There's
Wars.
been too much ever since Disney Plus. Like it's been too much Star Wars, too much
Mhm.
Marvel, and they've kind of watered down their quality.
Yeah, thinned out the blood a bit too much. And I think they made a mistake by taking away the feature films in Star Wars and maybe doing one Star Wars show a year. I think would have been an interesting take on something. Maybe two tops, but
But
That's what
Brent, there's
and then a film every 2
they
years.
need more money. They need the money So they're gonna get
No,
out as much as they can, dude.
Disney crave the money, but it's taken away
They
again. It
want
goes back to quality, and why is that happening? Because they're not paying the writers to actually be able to write decent quality and have time to. It goes back to the writing.
Yes, but at the end of the day, it yields more money for them. That's
No,
the bottom line.
exactly, yeah. But
They'll
Merchandising,
sacrifice quality.
but
They'll sacrifice quality of
but
storytelling
but
with
more
more
money,
volumes of money.
right? But more money over the fact that you've got an audience that is slowly getting disarrayed with their product.
That's
means
all
that they're
right.
putting out a bad
They'll
product.
take a break from that, and then they'll make
Yeah.
more money with their live action
Sure.
Snow White.
Sure. Yes.
Oh,
Well, not
Snow White.
Hunchback anymore because they scrapped that. But
I hadn't even heard
like,
they were doing that, but okay.
And
they
that's not
got
Seven Dwarfs.
They got loads of IP to mess with and
Sure.
deal with.
Yeah. It's you would
They
think
have
they'd go back to doing something
Simpsons,
original.
they got
Well, actually, speaking of original, I saw on one of the trailers that they played at the theaters the other day was for the Wish, the Disney film. It's just called Wish. It's their new
that like
animated film. Yeah, it's their new
everything coming into the expanded universe, like
I don't know
Kingdom
if
Hearts.
it's no, I don't think so. It looks. I mean, it definitely has that Disney-esque feel, but it didn't grab me. Usually, like when they did a trailer for
Wait, what is it?
It literally is a young girl ends up by finding the Disney star and
It's like
it makes a giant wish or something.
Tomorrowland type of thing.
Something like that.
Tomorrowland. That wasn't like a
Yeah.
departure. I
Oh,
mean,
that broke.
Yeah.
That was what broke Brad Bird's streak, right?
Right.
He was
Oh,
like a
yes.
guaranteed
Yeah.
great movie after great movie, and then
Yeah.
he did Tomorrow World. And
Tomorrow
that
World,
flopped.
yeah.
And I was like, I thought Brad Bird couldn't mess up.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
when we learned he couldn't.
it wasn't a strong film, that film. But anyway, The Wish is the new animated Disney film, and it just doesn't have any
animated.
drive. Yeah, it's animated, but it doesn't have any drive going behind it. It seems like it's kind of like the song. Usually, you have to have that catchy trailer song now, and they did it with Frozen. They did a very great job at setting up their main piece of music. And this song, it's like, okay, you've kind of stepped backwards again. And Disney have been going through these phases. I think we're still in the Bob Chapek phase of stuff getting out there.
Well, I mean, they haven't been lacking in popularity because Encanto was a smash.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And that was like was that their last animated movie they did?
I'm not sure it was the second last one at least. So.
Well, what came out between that?
I can't remember. I haven't.
I'm not counting Pixar stuff.
I've been kind of disconnected with Disney animated films in recent years because I haven't seen anything that's driven me. I think since I couldn't get into Encanto. I started watching it and I was like, I just couldn't get into it. But I did enjoy. What's the one? The young boy, the musician, the guitar.
Coco.
Coco. Yes.
That's Pixar though.
That was Pixar. Yes. Okay. Well, Pixar, Disney, whatever. Yeah. But even Pixar.
They're different, bro. They're different.
Yeah, they're different. but even then, it's like that was the last animated film within the Pixar.
Coco is so good, man.
Coco's
so many
great.
feels, dude.
Yeah.
And I watched it in the theater. Like at the end, I heard so many sniffles in the crowd.
See, here's the thing. I've been meaning to go and see Elements, and I actually
That's Pixar.
missed it. Yeah, but I still missed it. I hear it's very good too. That's the thing. You hear it's very good, but there was nothing striking in that trailer to pull me in. And it's just
What
weird.
what I always said about Elementals was that it looks like something that was supposed to be a Pixar short, but then they just expanded it to be a whole movie.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's like if they did a whole movie on the Red Umbrella.
Right.
That's what it feels like to me.
Right.
But I mean, I heard good things. It didn't. It started out bad, or
Mhm.
you know, it started out like flopping at the box office, but then every time I hear about it,
Yeah.
it just gets people say nothing but good stuff about it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, it now. I may have missed it on the big screen. I don't know. I mean, that's going to be one I'll catch on Disney Plus at some time, and
it was
see it.
Strange
I'll probably
Worlds.
do
I
it.
think Strange
Yeah,
Worlds was one that didn't get enough
yeah,
limelight, and
yeah.
that one came out after Encanto, and that
Mhm.
one just got snuffed for some reason.
Yeah.
Moana's dope.
Moana. Yeah, it was
I
good.
love
I,
Moana.
I liked it. I thought it was a good story. Um, they're supposed to be doing a live action of that film too now, so it's like,
It's a
ugh.
good story.
Yeah,
Hawaiian legend.
but
It's some good
no, no,
storytelling.
yeah, but it was different. It felt different to what we've been getting recently, which was.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Encanto had like the soundtrack was slaps, I feel like. They had
yeah.
what's his name who did Hamilton did the music
Oh,
for it.
okay.
So like
See,
that ended up really good. That's some good
yeah,
music.
that may be why I couldn't get into it. I'm not a big fan of his style of music. And when he added a song that was added into The Little Mermaid, wow, it did not work.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Little
it,
Mermaid.
yeah, it's yeah. Oh God, I forgot his name. The composer. But anyway, it was one of those things. Anyway,
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
yes, yes, Lin-Manuel Miranda, yes. And don't get me wrong, it's like, I respect how he's done so well and everything like that with his style and form of music, but there are some things that it hasn't worked in for me at all. Especially when he's just brought in to be an individual one-off number piece.
Isn't he a Grammy away from an EGOT? I
Could
don't
be.
know. Anyone?
Yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has he got an EGOT yet?
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. Yeah. So we'll move on. This week, another small piece of news that popped up. They ended up by saying that they had an interview with the guy who was supposed to be putting together the Lando TV show.
Oh yeah.
And he kind of shrugged his shoulders in the interview and said, "I don't know what's happening. We haven't moved forward. Nothing's really going that direction right now." So that happened, and then the same week, Donald Glover ends up by putting this post up saying that he and his brother are to write the Lando Disney series. So and that the guy who was originally Justin Simeon has exited, and this is kind of like, okay, this just all happened.
Well, I
this
guess
week.
they're done with Atlanta, so they have time now.
Good point. Yeah, I mean that's a good thing. But the thing is, obviously, he can't start writing any of that story until the writer's strike's over.
No.
Unless he's already been attached well before the writer's strike, which as the writer, which could have
I'm sure
possibly
he's got
happened.
some ideas.
Yeah, it wouldn't
I'm
surprise
sure
me.
they've like started already. You know.
I'm curious because Donald Glover is such a creative individual, and I'm curious, and he said it. He loves this character, and I am curious to see what he does bring to the table if things move forward in this direction, and he is indeed the writer as well as the.
Dude, if
the
he's attached,
star.
I'm game because Atlanta is one of the best shows I've
Really.
ever watched.
I haven't caught it. I need to catch it sometime for sure.
It's one of the best pieces of work I've seen in recent history.
And along with that news, on top of that same week, Billy D. Williams lands this little post saying something exciting coming soon, and everybody's sitting there going, including myself, going, "Oh my god, is this going to involve old Lando Calrissian and young Lando Calrissian?"
I have a question. Does Billy D. Williams know anything about this?
Well,
I think he got hired to do more Colt 45 commercials.
Well, here's what happened. Wait.
I think he has no idea what's going on right now.
There's more. He's 90. He's 91 years old, 92 years old. But then this came out. But then no, he tweeted that, and then about a day later he tweeted this, and he says, "I'm thrilled to share something truly magnificent is coming soon. This is a dream come true for me." And we're all thinking, yes, old Lando talking about his past, etc., and so on and so forth. A dream come true, and he says, "May the force be with you all." And I'm sitting there going, "Oh, this is awesome!" And then the next day, he posts this. It's his autobiography.
Oh, that's what he was talking about.
That's what he was talking about, and that's his autobiography. What do we
Billy
have
D.
here? Billy
So
D.
Portrait of a Life.
With the
Huh?
Lando show, is it gonna be like a young Indiana Jones, where it's like old him talking to someone about it,
If
like
Billy,
talking to some Twi'lek
yeah,
child?
yeah,
Like,
Billy D's
oh,
sitting
let
on an
me tell
old
you about
rocking. He's sitting on a sublight rocking chair, rocking back and forth, telling the story.
Yeah.
I
With an
would
eye
like to.
patch.
I would love to see that, but I don't know. I mean, but if you consider the fact if the series hasn't still been written yet, and it hasn't gone into pre-production, then they probably won't get it off the ground for another year and a half, kind of thing. 2 years before it comes out, or 2.5 years before it comes out. So the question is Billy D. Williams going to be capable of physical and capable of,
They can
of
get him
being
just for
around for that?
narration or something like that. I could,
Yeah,
like,
they
I
could.
would
If they
just
got
like
his
it was like a
likeness,
narration voice
Sure.
or whatever.
if they
You
have
know?
his
Yeah.
likeness on contract, they could just
Yeah.
CG his ass.
Yeah, they
see,
could.
yeah.
Well, yeah, but
Which
if
they haven't
They
been shy of
probably
doing
scanned him.
before.
They probably
Yeah,
scanned him head to
but
toe when he was in,
Yeah,
yeah,
Rise of
whatever the last
Skywalker, they got their
Skywalker.
scans in at
but
his age,
then
so
yeah, he's age. But then here, this goes on top of another thing that is happened a few years ago. Kathleen Kennedy kind of stopped a lot of the movies after Solo because Solo did not do well in the box office. Obviously, I personally enjoyed it, but it didn't do well, and Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm kind of announced that they were going to now not do different actors playing their younger characters. So we would only see a Mark Hamill representation over the top of a character that portrays Luke Skywalker. We wouldn't see another actor playing young Luke Skywalker.
Right.
And we're obviously going to see the same at some point, I'm guessing, with Han Solo and Princess Leia when we see them at that point after Return of the Jedi.
well, I think like if they're doing a whole show based
Right.
on them, I doubt they're gonna do like a CG younger version.
Correct.
But
You're
if
right.
they're
It would be.
cameo
Yeah.
like Luke Skywalker
Yeah.
in The Mandalorian, then
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, now that they've established that they'll just do a CG Luke Skywalker, they can't do a
Right.
young Luke show now
But-
because of that.
But because of that, they've also
But
done.
they've already established a young Han Solo and
Right.
a young Donald Glover to
Correct,
portray these
So
young
do
versions of them, so they could do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so that's my next question. Do you think we'll end up by seeing Alden Ehrenreich pop back in as Han Solo, which it wouldn't surprise me if he does cross paths with Lando?
I would like to
in a
see
series.
that.
I would too. I think it'd be great. Elijah, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that could go that way. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't. And like
Yeah.
I was saying, it's like even if it's just narration, he's like one time when this happened,
Yeah, no, totally.
Like just like a
leading
cameo,
off, like,
maybe.
because he may be too old to do a lot of stuff at this point, but I'm sure
Yeah.
he'd be happy to sit in a booth and do hours of narration or whatever just so they have it.
Oh yeah.
You notice him
Yeah.
in Rise of Skywalker. Every scene with Lando, he's sitting.
Yeah.
He like really
Yeah.
couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I'm
He
sure
came
he
in
can.
for like one day,
Right.
hit
Yeah.
wardrobe, and then delivered all his lines.
Yeah.
They're just
um,
adventures, I guess, dude. I think they try to intertwine him in like the same way they did Solo, just like his involvement with stuff happening around him. What really exciting about a Lando show, say if they do a younger Lando, is the time frame and what's going on in the universe around him during that time when he looks like Donald Glover.
Yeah.
And so that's exciting.
Yeah.
And all the different Jedis and stuff you can see. What would be going on around that time? It's Empire.
Right.
I mean,
guess.
you're talking
Yeah,
like 5 years before, 5 years before Star Wars or something like that.
Or like a couple years after Solo. So it'd be like those gangsters.
Yeah.
Like you might see.
Star Wars Rebels actually included Billy D. Williams voicing young Lando Calrissian before The Empire Strikes Back, before A New Hope. And so we did see Lando pop up in Star Wars Rebels at one point in 1 or 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So they've kept him as that kind of, they've kept the theme going that he's doing his own thing. And he kind of is out for making a profit, obviously, for himself and trying to advance his own.
It could be how he ended up getting the keys to Cloud City.
Yeah.
Lead up to like where he is, like when we see him for the first time.
Totally. Yeah.
So there's a lot, and he's an interesting character. There's a lot of good stuff they could throw in, especially like. Right. I would like to see that honestly, because that's an aspect of the Star Wars universe that I'm really interested in.
No, totally. I agree.
Lobot's going to come
under-
back too. We're getting
criminal
Lobot. The
underbelly. We'll
return
see
of
what
Lobot.
that-
Lobot comeback, yeah.
We'll see how he
The-
becomes Lobot.
Uh-huh.
The
We'll see
return
him
of
like
Lobot.
pre enhancements and
Sure.
watch his personality.
We haven't seen a Star
diminish.
Wars story really truly around the enhancement in well, I mean, I guess we have with the mods in Book of Boba Fett. To a
Yeah,
certain
but to
degree.
watch his
but they're a different-
personality diminish as he becomes more Lobot
Yeah.
than what he used to be, that would be interesting. That alone is a reason I'd like to see a Lando movie.
There you go.
Sure. Yeah. No. He's an interesting character in an interesting time because he isn't a smuggler. He's a suave, talker, and he gets himself in and out. The idea is Lando kind of like looks like he belongs with the rich people, but he really isn't. Or that.
With the biggest ego in the Star Wars universe.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's a fascinating thing.
Especially with Donald Glover's portrayal of him, where he's
sure.
recording his
Oh yeah,
his
the memoirs.
memoirs.
Which is part of the novelization. He actually ended up by recording his own memoirs. And,
Captain's log today.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be like seeing Jim from Star Trek. It's just like that type of ego. I'd like to see that. Dude, that sounds fun. The more we talk about it, the more excited I am about the possibility of a Lando show, especially being helmed by Donald Glover and his brother.
Yeah,
like to see that type of stuff.
Did they do any writing in Empire at all, or
in what?
Is it Empire the TV series that did they do any of the writing or
Atlanta?
Sorry, what did I say Empire for?
Sorry. Yeah, they did the whole show.
Oh, they did the whole show. They actually
it's his brainchild, dude.
Okay.
And, it's one of the best shows.
In that case,
I can't stress
I'll need to check
it enough to watch. Now that they're connected, now that he's like connected to Star Wars, you have a reason to watch it now, Brent.
Sure. Sure.
There's some context there.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I will check it out, and I'm curious. I mean, it's still the early stages, but hopefully.
I'll just say it starts out as something else in the first couple seasons, and then it turns into this whole other thing by the third season.
Okay. Cool. So let's jump into the Ahsoka trailer that popped up.
Oh, I didn't see this yet.
Oh, you haven't seen the Ahsoka trailer?
No.
The second. Oh, really? Okay.
Why would I? Just kidding.
All right. Wait.
Let's watch it.
You're just kidding that you haven't seen it, or you're just kidding?
Oh, I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it? Oh, no. Okay. All right. Well, let's kind of do this and kind of check through it so Jason can check it out. And that's it. You went there for the reaction video, were you?
You guys reacted to the second one?
Wait, did I do a reaction video?
Not to this one, not the one that came out this week. Like you said, there's like you. Oh yeah, I know. You had it on our text chain, and
that's
you
it.
mentioned something.
All right. Hang on. Let me get this set up. All right, we're good there. Okay. So let me just put this volume at a midpoint there. Hopefully we won't get flagged for it, but we'll see. Okay, so Ahsoka trailer 2. This is the final trailer that we're going to actually see of this. Yeah, let's talk about it.
There's so few Jedi left. She's coming.
Balon's going to be an interesting character.
Our enemies are multiplying.
Let me do that.
The galaxy is not safe.
And
I could use the help.
It's now or never. Once a rebel, always a rebel.
Parasidor looks so good. And so we see right there in that scene, Jason.
Get ready,
Sindula.
ready.
Ahsoka 2-episode premiere August 23rd, only on Disney+.
So
episodes.
Yeah. So we're gonna get 2 episodes back to back, which is gonna be cool.
Man.
Let me take something back here. So we
see the back of her son's head.
Yeah, we actually see here. Oh my god, that's such a beautiful shot. We actually see here.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
So we're inside the actual. This is inside the ghost now. For the first time, we've actually seen the interior of the ghost. So if you check over to the side there, there's a kid sitting in.
I don't see his ears.
Huh? Good. He doesn't have ears. But yeah, we see.
Does it have ears?
Yeah, We actually see technically what? No, we just see the back of his head. I'm just like, it's kind
No,
of.
I'm just joking. It's a joke about his big old monkey ears.
Once a rebel,
No,
always a
I
rebel.
know. So that's his hand pulling back on the hyperdrive unit right there.
Nice.
I know, I'm geeking out. It's the kid's hands. I don't know who this kid is or the actor is, but
Oh, E-Man, don't bring up Grey Jedi with Brent.
what? What did you say, Jason? What did you say, Jason?
It's just E-Man's comment.
What's that? Oh, Grey Jedi? Okay, here's what I've got to say about Grey Jedi.
Oh man.
You know what? I would like to see
Uh-huh.
a non-binary Jedi. That's what I'd like to see.
Okay, fair enough.
I think Ahsoka would be the closest we get to that.
Wait a
Possibly.
minute, wasn't
If it's
there
any, like
a bunch of Jedis in whatever one of those prequel movies?
What's that?
Attack of the Clones? Wasn't there like a giant array of Jedis fighting people?
Right, but yeah, but
no, but
you
I'm
said
talking about
non-binary.
is,
Yeah.
I'm talking about one that just like, like what Ahsoka is. She like defects
Yeah.
from the Jedi Order,
Yeah.
and she's nor I guess she's still a Jedi, but like to be not a Jedi or a dark side.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Just something between, non-binary.
Right. Yeah.
Jedi's are base,
Sabine's
bro.
got
Yeah.
Sabine's got
Thank
Ezra's
you.
green lightsaber.
E-Man Malloy, thank you.
Yeah, no, they're a joke. Because there is no Grey Jedi. You must understand,
Dude,
like the idea.
Jedi are jokes, man.
The Jedi either turned to the dark side or have got darkness that is let into them. But a Grey Jedi means that you would actually be you'd be actually dark side. There is no in between. It's pure.
Only,
No,
hey, Brent, all I gotta
There's
say
no
is,
lukewarm Jedi. You gotta be all Jedi.
all I gotta say is only Siths deal in absolutes, Brent.
Then I'm a Sith, okay? But the reality is, good God, Chopper looks awesome. But yeah, anyway.
No, see, I don't like that. That's so lame. Only
can't even
Siths
be
deal
like
in
Grey.
absolutes.
You
So
can't
if
even
you're
be like
not
Grey.
light, you're
Yeah.
dark. Like that's lame, dude.
100%.
The other thing that they dropped this week, actually, also now for the
Brent
first
doesn't want to
time.
talk about it.
No, well, there's some things I do want to move into here, though. For the first time in a while, Star Wars is doing their marketing better and correct. And I say that because of this. Sorry, just looking for the trailer. This particular trailer that I'm about to put up here is a second trailer that dropped.
Yeah,
Half a second there. Just got to get past the commercial thing here. Yeah, a second trailer that dropped for Ahsoka this week, and it's actually done the tie-in really, really nicely to Star Wars in general. And this one I want to get your opinion on, in the sense of
Just how it's edited together, how it's pieced together versus the other one?
Well, this one here it's called Master and Apprentice, and this is its trailer for Ahsoka.
Oh, it's a fan. It's like a fan edit.
No less.
Nope, hang on. Sorry, my bad. No, it's an official trailer.
Always two.
No, I said it's like a fan
No
edit.
more.
Oh, right.
No less. A master and an apprentice.
Be mindful of the living force, young Padawan.
You will be tempted by the dark side of the Force.
One must destroy in order to create.
Master. It's been a while. Things have changed. Sometimes we have to do what's right.
Confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi.
Buckle up. Never be afraid of who you are.
Past on what you have learned. We are what they grow beyond. That is the true burden of all masters.
Ahsoka 2-episode premiere streaming August 23rd on Disney+.
It reminds me of the hundreds of fan edits I see on Instagram every day.
Yeah,
but-
it does
but-
just
Dude.
look like strung together.
All right.
Like, hey,
Here we
Right,
got-
but-
just
comments
reminding
are-
you
comments
that
are
this
blowing
is
up,
all
dude.
associated.
Right, but
Comments are blowing up.
No,
Vader
but-
became a great Jedi when he saved Luke from the
it
Empire.
does
no,
push
wait.
And I do feel like
let's
Ahsoka is a great Jedi too.
But
as
let's
well.
let's talk about this, because if you compare it to the marketing that they did for Obi-Wan, there was nowhere near the marketing. It feels like they've changed their strategy in their marketing towards Ahsoka. Already, the toy liner in the shelves, there are some toys that are existing on the shelves, where half of these other shows, Book of Boba Fett, we never saw the toy line until about a year later. The same with Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I'm hoping that Disney are kind of
they
upping their
learn from
marketing.
their mistakes.
Yeah, but they shouldn't have to learn from these big mistakes.
We know who's running that shit, dude. They're all idiots.
But the one thing that they've been trying to do for years is keep the secrets. Obviously, things like Grogu, they wanted to keep a secret, so they had to wait a year before a toy line's made up. But if you've got something like Ahsoka, you've got like this show Star Wars Rebels, so they're already promoting toy line related stuff from Rebels based around the new show, and they've got it out on the stores, and more or less in time for the show to come out, and they've got all this ability of doing this stuff. And this is the first time I think I'm actually seeing their marketing kind of catching up to what we already know, which is we want to see stuff in the stores promoting the show that you are talking about now, not a year from now. I mean, if Marvel are managing to do it and still put out stuff for Loki on the shelves and all this, so they're able to promote stuff in such a great way. It's really about Lucasfilm are always afraid of their secrets getting and slipping out, and I can understand that. But for stuff to be people to be invested in it, you want to see it everywhere. You want to have this historical reference. You want to see the stuff like the Master and Apprentice trailer that's leading into Ahsoka, because there is an important thing. And yes, you may feel like it's a fan-edited piece, but they finally got to a point of where they're doing that and they're actually showing us that.
Well, you got to consider. Well, this is what I got to say about that, because you got to consider. Yeah, it does make it look like the clips are in the show. I mean, they did this for Obi-Wan Kenobi as well, right? Mm-hmm. They had like extra clips, and like they had clips from like old stuff from the prequels and stuff. They did their own version of this.
Yeah, I guess they
during
did.
that.
Yeah,
and like they always do that with their Star Wars stuff, even with not with Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. But then that wasn't like focused on any old characters.
Yeah,
whenever they bring up someone from like a past series, they tend to do something like this. And with something like Obi-Wan, for instance, that's such a huge name. It's like holds so much weight in the Star Wars lore, especially for Star Wars normies who didn't watch any of the Clone Wars and stuff like that.
Right.
It's still Obi-Wan Kenobi. So it's not really necessary to have to like, ramp up. They got the views. People watched Obi-Wan Kenobi, right?
That's the problem. We don't know if it really got the views. They don't actually release the streaming views.
I know, but I didn't think it like it. I think the fact that it's a show on Obi-Wan, I think it got all the views that it could.
It got views.
It's something like Ahsoka, which is not really like a main character. It's not Anakin. It's a character established in the cartoon and the animated series. So I'd arguably say she's a second tier character to a lot of Star Wars normies. In this case, yes, you're gonna have to like get some extra types of like publicity for a character like this, because it doesn't hold the weight that an Obi-Wan would with the Star Wars normies. And I'm just talking about people who are casual Star Wars fans. They wouldn't know who Ahsoka is. Mandalorian, for instance, you have a person in a Boba Fett mask. That does a lot already for a Star Wars norm. You're like, oh shit, that's like a Boba Fett dude.
Yeah,
I'll totally watch that. But it's not like women in Star Wars, which Ahsoka is. It's like 3 female leads. Like on paper, that isn't a guaranteed win or like a guaranteed watch for a show like that. So they're gonna need extra publicity. They're gonna need extra press to kind of push something, because it doesn't have as much going for it than an Obi-Wan did with the Star Wars.
But up until Obi-Wan, Anakin Skywalker, they were trying to not erase the prequels, but they didn't want to talk about the prequels. We had this ability where they.
I would argue that the after the sequels came out, did people really start looking at the prequels in a better light?
No, but
Because,
as the Disney picked up that era, Disney were afraid to. They still to this day haven't re-released the prequels on the big screen, yet they had the show Obi-Wan Kenobi come out where they could have put Revenge of the Sith back on the big screen for 2 weeks, the same way they did.
Well, I think that has a lot to do with how they were filmed as well.
Why?
And
Why?
Those aren't going to do well in the re-release, I don't think.
But I go to see Jaws on the big screen in a re-release, and I accept.
You're talking about Jaws, dude.
Yeah,
that's different.
but we're also talking
on
about
film.
Yeah, but
There's limitations on the digital filming that they did with Attack of the Clones that cannot be remastered for the aspect ratios they have today.
But they haven't even tried to put it up there, just knowing
Because
what
they
it's
won't-
going to look
they
like and
won't.
how it's going to feel.
They won't do
They
well.
will. They're going to have to.
They won't do well, is what I'm saying.
You
It's
don't think
not the
they'll-
original trilogy.
But I think that they will because
dude.
they're because of
I don't think people want to see
they
that.
will because of shows like Ahsoka and the Clone Wars. There's been more of a build up towards the graduate. Elijah's always gonna disagree with that.
No, but there's a clear point. There's a clear point with
right.
what we're saying, film versus how it's shot, and it's just not going to look right.
Sure.
It wouldn't do well.
Yeah, but
it's not going to look good. It won't look good on.
And if they did it, it would be one of those phantom event things where it's like one night only. Like
you'll get that.
To see it, like that's.
But as far as like a worldwide re-release of the prequels, I just thought that would lose them money.
No, see, I disagree, and I disagree only because
because you don't want to move theater.
No, because the gearing towards the prequels in the Clone Wars from between the animation and Rebels and Ahsoka and all these shows, even Obi-Wan series, they all have relevance to connection to the prequels. So they have.
I understand
it's
that,
weird
but
Disney have their audience.
Disney
it's not the
invested.
But it's not to the point where they would re-release them in the theaters with like full-on releases.
Right.
I don't think that would happen.
The
dude.
people that grew up with those animated things
I don't think
those
they
series and
aged
watch
well
that
enough
stuff,
to do that either.
they know it so well they don't need
I think that there's been a change that they have aged well enough, and I do question that. And the only way they're going to actually do it is by just releasing it to test it out and test out the theory. How well?
Yeah, like
would
what
Revenge of the
Elijah
Sith
said
do
with a
re-release?
Fathom event, yeah, that would be fine.
No, I'm talking about like a Return of the Jedi 40th
I don't-
anniversary for 2 weeks kind of thing.
I don't think I don't think it holds that.
The last time they did that, when they tried to do the 3D re-release, that's like they did one and they didn't do any of the rest of them.
It's like saying, why don't they release any of the newer Jurassic Parks?
Anchorman, I call it a passionate argument. We're passionately arguing.
It's like I could see them doing that with Jurassic Park, for instance, but Lost World, I don't think they're going to do a 20th anniversary release of Lost World. The second Jurassic Park? Nah, they're not going to do that. You're going to talk about like the original
when would that be?
one, dude.
When would that be? Would that be next?
That would already passed, right? That have passed.
20th. Well, actually, Jurassic Park's 30th anniversary was.
But I could understand doing it with Jurassic Park.
Sure.
They did that already. They did like
Correct.
a 20-year anniversary release for Jurassic Park. But for Lost World, they're not going to do that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
It would be like that. That's how I'd put it.
That's
like,
also Universal, not Disney. But Disney, but it is apparent.
As much as I would love to see Revenge of the Sith on the screen again,
Sure. Mm-hmm.
You know, I did watch it 5 times that summer in the theaters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Man,
but
what a waste of
as
money.
much as I'd want to see that,
yeah,
I don't think they'll ever do that, dude.
I hope you snuck in 4 of those times to make it worth your time.
We'll find out in 2 years' time, because in 2 years' time it's the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, and yeah.
In 2 years' time.
So. In 2 years' time, we'll be dragging Elijah to the big screen to see Revenge of the Sith on the big screen. Yeah,
we'll trick him to say it's like a Pulp Fiction screening, you know, but then it'll just be that.
A
Like,
rowdy
most people
screening
trust
or
them.
something. I'll go to a
There's-
rowdy screening of it.
There's a possibility that
Yeah,
something,
rowdy scene would be
but there
nice,
also
yeah.
is the possibility though a show like Ahsoka may revive that to the general audience, as you say, that are not familiar with the animated shows or the character. Of
Yeah, but I don't think it's
And-
gonna revive it to the point of a nationwide release of the prequels in
Really?
theaters. I
Okay.
doubt it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Okay.
Because can you imagine how bad Attack of the Clones would do if they
What would
released
do
that
because
in
because you could
theaters?
because you could see what the separation of CG of the early days. It's historic.
It's just
it's
a
a
bad
hard-
movie.
No, people are going to be like, oh, wow, that CG has come a long way, and I can respect what it was at the time. People are going to be
It's
like,
just
what?
I
What
would
is this?
kill to
This looks
see. I
bad.
would kill to see the prequels on the big screen again. It has to
I
be-
know, that's
yeah.
you though.
Yeah, that's me. There's also a lot of other people, and that's what I mean. I think you would have an
Yeah, but
audience
not
that would be
enough
drawn for a
for
2 week
for a
release.
nationwide release, man. I doubt it.
And depending on where you see it, and how it's being
And
projected,
Brent, I'm
and
on
what
your side.
projector it's going to
I
like
would
look
love,
way
I
different.
would love
depending
to
on what
see
you're
that too, Brent.
Yeah.
I'd want to see that,
Sure,
but I just don't think it will happen. It's not realistic.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, that's the thing. It's like
You
that's,
can just rent a theater and play your DVD at the theater, and then it'll be back.
no. See, Elijah's gonna not go no matter what because it's Elijah, and it's the prequels. But the reality is, I feel like there is more of a audience to want to see those prequels in the big screen than there were before. Than there would have been 5 years ago or before Disney era. So I feel like that.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean
know.
that.
It's
That
just what I think.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm agree with you that there are
Sure.
more people who appreciate the prequels now that the sequels came out, but not to the point of them doing a re-release. Like that would just hemorrhage so much money for them. It wouldn't make sense, like business wise, for Disney to do that. But a Fathom event for sure, triple feature
Again,
of all the prequels. That would
Sure.
that would probably do fine.
Yeah, that would do fine.
Limited
but
release, maybe.
It would be. It would. That's what I mean. It's like a limited release of like 2 weeks only. Again, the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary had a 2 week period of. Or was it 1 week? I can't remember. But even that would be. It'd be interesting to see how that does. It's still annoying that they haven't experimented by trying it out and connecting it to a tie-off into the show. I mean. Again, they could have done the prequels and tied it into the Obi-Wan series. They could have dropped the prequels on the big screen as a limited release and tie it to Ahsoka, because she is Anakin's, Padawan. So it's like, it feels like you're talking about Disney trying to invest milking their product, but they're milking it in the wrong ways. I feel
that would cost them more money to do than the money they'd actually make from that. That's why they won't do it. Yeah.
You think so?
I think so. Like it costs a lot of money to release stuff in a nationwide release. That
And to
costs
promote
so
it and
much.
let people know
And to
that it's out
promote
there.
that
Not
extra
just getting it
bus
into
ads,
theaters,
that's
but like
millions, almost
getting it
billions of
into the
dollars.
amount of theaters that they would need to make the money, and then get people to want to go see it.
Yeah, and for a streaming show,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
again,
I don't think that would. That won't fly.
I'd be curious. Yeah.
You'd be curious on how it would do.
No.
It would do bad. I can tell you that.
No. I am curious to what Return of the Jedi made in its re-release, because that was one of the more recent re-release updates of. Again, it's gone through several configurations.
But they haven't even released they haven't even done full nationwide release of the original trilogy since the 90s.
Yeah, I think we've had just again the Fathom events every once in a while. They'll do a 15
but for
20,
the
25
originals,
year.
They did special edition, full on
Sure.
theatrical release nationwide.
Right,
and that was the last time they ever did anything like that. Anything else is just a limited event.
But when Return of the Jedi came out, it was the full Blu-ray version, final version, where Vader goes "No" at the end and all that sort of stuff. And so I don't know if it's the second time they've re-released Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a nationwide release where it's in the theaters for
Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary. It was a nationwide release. Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't limited.
No, Well, it was limited to. I want to say it was 2 weeks, but
Yeah, that's no.
Yeah.
It's not a full release. It's still,
It's not
and
a full
we live in
release.
LA
No,
where you can get it everywhere. If you live in like the middle of nowhere,
but none
you're
of
not
those
gonna get
films
it
are full
easily.
releases. But I'm talking about when you're talking about Fathom Events, it's a one night, one time period, 7 p.m. only. This was released in the theaters, from 10 a.m. in the morning till 10 p.m. at night, playing 5 times a day, Return of the Jedi for a week. That is technically a official re-release of the film, and it's limited because it is for over the course of a week or 2 weeks. Or
Yeah, even that would be too expensive for Disney to make any money if they
For
did
the
that with
prequels.
any of the prequels. Yeah, that would cost them more than that they'd actually make.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I would love to see the experiment tried out, at least with one of the prequels, and I'd say Revenge of the Sith is the better of the three structurally. That would.
If any of them had a chance in the theater with a re-release, it would be
it'd
that
be
one.
Revenge.
But
Yeah,
it would
exactly.
still wouldn't probably. It probably wouldn't. It would probably
Yeah.
cost them more to do that than
You
it
think
would
so?
actually make for them. Yeah.
And that's why I question. I don't know how much it costs for them to put out Return of the Jedi for a full week, and in compared to how much it made, because I'm pretty sure the seats were pretty full.
Sure, that's just a
couple of
Google
times I went.
away.
Yeah, it probably is. I'd have to find out. But anyway, at that point, not too much else really. I think my internet's lagging again.
Your dad's not a fan of the prequels, and now it seems like your family doesn't like the sequels.
What's
Just left a bad taste. Hot take: I could not get into Jurassic. You're like Loki with
Really,
Ghostbusters.
you couldn't get into Jurassic Park. The first one was great.
Original?
Jurassic World sucked. I did not like Jurassic World films.
The new ones are just
Yeah.
shameless cash grabs.
Jurassic Park, the first one was brilliant. But
Yeah, I
again,
didn't like it.
Elijah, how could you not like the prequels?
I could see
I-
why one wouldn't like the prequels, Brent. They're not
Yeah,
these
you
flawless
make it,
movies.
You make
dude.
it.
They're
You
not
make them sound like they're flawless, perfect movies.
Yeah, they're
they're
not
They're not.
flawless
It's okay,
movies.
I know.
They're
It's okay not to
they're
like
really
them.
bad
It's
writing.
really okay not to like them.
See, I like them in
Suck
a
love
I'm-
Lost World. See,
I'm
I
fine
wasn't as
not
big of
liking
a.
those movies.
Yeah,
Lost
that's
World's
fine.
dope, dude.
But before we leave,
Lost
let's
World was okay.
hold on. Before we leave,
Mhm.
let's please not skip over Pee Wee and Paul Rubin
Oh yes, poor
passing
yes.
away.
Oh yeah.
Because that is sad, and Pee Wee's gone, and he was amazing.
Fun little fact: Australia never knew who Pee Wee Herman was. We never got any of
What?
the as a kid. We never got a single thing about Pee Wee Herman. I think except for the feature film that Pee Wee's Big Top Adventure. It was the only thing that came out. And it had 0 watches practically because it really didn't have a connection to an Australian audience. So we never knew who Pee Wee Herman is. So I was never necessarily attached to the character
Pee Wee
or the actor.
Adventure, like
Yeah.
Australia didn't get Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
I think they got the
Well,
movie.
they did. They got the
but,
movie,
but they had
didn't get
no
the Pee-wee's
connection.
Playhouse.
But they never got the Pee-wee's Playhouse, so they
There
had
was no
connection.
context for that
Context
character,
for exactly. So it didn't
well.
do well. Yeah. So in that sense, but since I've lived over here, I understand who he is as an actor, but I've still never gone back and watched or connected to Ruben's work. But it is
For
Oh,
those
so
of
you don't-
you-
you-
For
you're
those
like,
of you who don't know, Peter Paul Rubens had an art
Poems.
project character that he did when he was in college, and it was
Right.
Huey as a performance art piece, and then he later got picked up to be an actual full-on character.
Well,
That's
he was in
great.
the Groundlings. He was in the Groundlings with
Groundlings, and that was like one of his characters, right?
one of his characters.
I,
He
see,
was
I
with
don't know
Phil
what any of that is.
Phil Hartman and
Okay.
It's comedy stuff, Brent. So
Okay.
we're
Yeah.
out of-
See, I don't know what any of that is. But I did.
Elvira also went to
Oh, really?
Groundlings at the same time, and they kind of
Okay.
developed their characters around the same time.
All right.
Yeah.
I
But
did.
yeah, it's awesome. Penguin's dad and Batman returns. Yeah, there's some context
was
for
aware,
you, Brent.
I was aware of who he. No, I was aware of who he is, and I know who he is. I was just not connected as a kid to Pee Wee Herman himself.
He was the voice in Flight of the Navigator. He was
Anchorman. That's a game I like to play with Brent. Whenever like you got to kind of somehow bring it to the realm of what Brent's understanding.
Yeah, it's funny when Brent is not familiar with something, he just acts like he's like, I don't even know. It's like on Mars. Like I don't know what he's talking about.
It's like Orson Welles. He's the voice of Unicron.
Who? I don't know.
I know who Orson Welles is before Unicron.
I know, but I'm saying when you say that you're not into things or don't know about things, it's just like you really, really don't know.
I'm aware who Paul Rubens is.
Right?
I know what films he's done. I know that, but either way, it is very sad. Yes, he was 70 years old and he had cancer. Apparently, yeah.
Well, it's just like for me and Elijah, it was like a huge part of our childhood.
Sure, no, absolutely, no, totally. So go on.
It's like it was like a Transformers.
So go on, talk about that.
I'm just saying. I mean that with respect.
Actually, like after he passed away, there was a lot of I saw a lot of content on Instagram about it, and someone resurrected that old Adam Sandberg sketch with Pee Wee Herman. Did you see that one, Elijah?
Adam Sandberg? No.
Yeah, it was a SNL sketch where he was just at a bar and then he sees Pee Wee Herman there. And then they go out drinking. Man, you haven't seen this, Elijah? Come on, man.
No, I haven't seen that.
Jesus Christ. What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I don't watch a lot.
Oh, but it's great. It was really great because it was the first time seeing Pee Wee Herman in forever. And he looked exactly just like him. But then they go out drinking. They go on a bender. And they end up attacking Anderson Cooper. And then they end up having like a kind of a, what do they call it when intervention with like the rest of the cast. Is like, you and Pee Wee Herman can't hang out together anymore.
I'll have to watch
Man, you should bring it up, Brent. Pull it up on the screen. It's good stuff. Wait. Watch it.
Yeah.
Andy Samberg, Pee Wee. Like I didn't know that.
Yeah, just write Andy Samberg, Pee Wee Herman. And
I'm just not sure about the copyrights and stuff like that.
It'll be fine. Yeah. We're streaming.
Wait. What's it? Sorry, say that again.
Andy Samberg, Pee Wee Herman. It's a good homage to Andy Samberg did a lot of he was our generation entering the SNL lineup.
Go out drinking. Is that the right one?
Yeah. Okay. And so he brought in a lot of humor that our generation was familiar with. So it was a nice renaissance for SNL after their dark period between the last did I ruin it? It did. I'd say. What the hell? A TikTok, Brent? Come on, go back to the
YouTube.
Wait, yeah, find a YouTube clip.
Yeah, go to YouTube, not Google.
There
we go.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Recordings just got better.
Commercials.
Oh, okay.
Oh, of course, it's got to pick that commercial for you to watch.
I haven't seen a commercial on YouTube in a while.
All right.
The greats this week with the passing of Pee Wee's Big Adventure star.
Oh my God! I'll find it.
We're not gonna get. Yeah.
I'll find it. This is just people doing reviews of it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
I mean, just that one image. Maybe I saw it a long time ago, but it didn't stand out, so I'll find it.
Yeah. Unless they find it and have it preset in there.
Maybe we should just watch the TikTok then.
We should just watch Pee Wee's Big Adventure and just get it over with.
No, I want to see this because Elijah hasn't seen it, and he likes Pee Wee, and I think he'd really appreciate this. Just do the first one that you put up.
That one? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the only one we're ever gonna
in a reasonable amount of time.
Just do a full screen.
Okay. What's time?
Beer, please? Yeah, you got it. Thanks.
That's as big as I can make it.
Excuse me, you know what time it is?
Time for you to get a watch.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm such a big fan. I know you are, but what am I? Yes. Oh God. Hey, you gotta let me buy you a drink.
Well, I usually just stick with milk, but
I guess just this once. Awesome. Excuse me, bartender. Shots. Cheers.
Okay.
Two more, please.
He looks great, and this is over a decade ago.
Yeah, this is probably when they did his last movie, The Hollow.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to get flagged with all the music playing that's on.
Alright, stop it.
What's that?
I'll watch this later. You're worried about it.
Oh no, there's no more music after this. There.
It's Anderson Cooper. Yes. Hey. Hey, Anderson. Hey, Andy, how's it going? Hey, can I ask you a question? Do you know Barbara Walters? Sure. You guys ever hook up, or? Is it a joke? Oh, Anderson! Here's our headline!
I don't know, my kind of humor is totally different to your kind of humor. I don't find any of this funny, but this is me.
You boys been drinking tonight?
You don't have to complain while we're watching Pee-wee.
I know, we get it.
I know,
Brent.
but
we get you don't understand.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I had one drink.
I'm sorry, it's not Minions.
What's that?
I guess Minions is your style of humor. Huh?
I find it funny. Anyway, whatever.
Oh gosh.
Hey, what are you guys doing here? This is an introduction.
Look, it's your boy.
Hey,
Elijah, it's your boy.
My friend.
He's not the only one with the problem, Pee-wee. Your friends are here too.
Jerry?
Jerry.
You're a bad influence on each other.
We are not.
Oh, really?
Anderson.
You almost hit me in the eye. Do you know what would happen if I lost these eyes? They're a national treasure.
They are.
You'd be blind. That'd be terrible.
You guys can't hang out together anymore. Why don't you take a moment? Say goodbye.
Okay. Goodbye, Andy. It was fun while it lasted. And even though you're a bad influence, you're a great friend.
I know you are.
But what am I?
But what am I?
Son of a bitch stole my life.
Celebrate by doing some shots! Shots!
Okay.
Nice.
You can tell Keenan Thompson's still there. It's hard to tell. Like he's been. He's at the. He holds the record now. He's surpassed Tim Meadows.
Man, they're the longest. It's crazy,
dude.
Anyway,
but yeah, that was a nice little dedication to Peter Paul Rubens. Pee-wee, rest in peace.
Yeah,
you'll always be part of our hearts.
And not Brent's.
You will be missed.
Wasn't aware of him.
Different, different environment when growing up. So, anyway, guys, yeah, I think that's about it. Everybody in chat, thank you so much for joining us, and guys, thank you so much. We will be doing some reaction videos to Ahsoka in a week and a half's time, 2 weeks time, kind of thing. When is it? Wait, 23rd.
I don't know.
It's 23rd.
You have a countdown. You have it down to the minute. Right?
Yeah, right. It is. It's 17 days. It's still 2 weeks away. 2.5 weeks
17
away.
days.
Yeah.
12 hours.
and change. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. We shall
minutes.
catch you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy what we had to say, and we shall catch you next week. And also, Jason's channel, his Twitch channel, on Wednesday nights, will be on there talking about AI stuff and any cool things that Jason has to say.
And we'll be asking you to pick another target, a military target. Name the system.